we have to talk about this Trump interview off the rails, okay? And just bizarre in so many ways. So before we get into it, you've probably seen, just based on how many people are covering, one of the viral moments. We will talk about that. And it is disturbing what Trump thinks about the world. But we'll also look at other moments, more deep cut stuff that maybe others haven't discussed yet. And this is the Dr. Phil round 2 interview with Trump. And he's going to be doing another release of part of the interview tonight. So if there's more interesting, maybe we'll talk about it. But this is night 1. And last Dr. Phil interview, I told you that I don't want to be petty. I don't, okay? I don't. But with love in my heart, compassion in my soul, Dr. Phil gives me the creeps. He just does. And one thing that was funny was while he was listening to Trump talk throughout this interview, it looked like he was sort of about to fall asleep.
They let the next sentence run. It was perfect. And they know that. They know that. When she spoke, she said, I was going to raise taxes. No, I'm lowering taxes. She said all sorts of things that were false. Everything was false. I think we counted 21 lies. I'm going to save Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security because the millions of people that are pouring in.
Okay, if it ever cuts to his face, 1 second.
And are going on Social Security. Social Security cannot stand it. I'm leaving Social Security just the way it is. I'm not raising age limits. I'm not doing anything. They're going to destroy it. They're going to destroy Medicare. I mean, more importantly, they're going to destroy our country. If she wins,
they're going to destroy our country.
I don't believe our country has a chance because it's a Marxist ideology. And if you go back 3 or 4 years and you look at her
yeah, Dr. Phil. Oh gosh, this is getting boring. But it wasn't that boring throughout the whole thing. One, we've been talking a lot about how those around Trump are just begging him, are desperately working to try to put him in scenarios where he can run a better campaign because of how disoriented he is running against Kamala Harris, right? Please focus on policies. Focus on these talking points we'll give you. Don't go off into your off-script territory because that used to work for you for some reason, but it's not working now. And it causes the headline about an interview, about a speech, about a rally to be bad for you. And that contrasted against Kamala Harris and her disciplined messaging is not the contrast the Trump campaign wants. Panic is the word being used in reporting about people surrounding Trump and how they feel. But here, given that, I honestly don't know why Trump wants this to be recorded, but either he's so confused and delusional about the world, or he's just trying to be dishonest in a very strange way, and it comes from a deep place of narcissism. Because listen to what he says about California.
I look at California. I gave a speech. I had a crowd so big. I said, "There's no way I could lose California," but automatically they mark it down if you're a Republican as a loss, that you lose.
No, they don't mark it down automatically as a loss. They count millions of more votes for the Democrats.
California, but automatically they mark it down if you're a Republican as a loss, that you lose by 5 million votes. I said, 5 million votes? I guarantee if Jesus came down and was the vote counter, I would win California, okay? In other words, if we had an honest vote counter, a really honest vote counter, I'd do great with the Hispanics, great. I mean, at a level that no Republican's ever done.
What?
But if we had an honest vote counter, I would win California.
You think so?
Oh, I think so. I do. I see it. I go around California. They have Trump signs all over the place. It's a very dishonest. Everything is mail-in. They send out 38 million ballots. I think it is around 36, 38 million ballots. They send.
So let me first address what a lot of people were saying in response to this clip. You had prominent influencers saying this is elder abuse, saying this is indicative of some cognitive decline, that he's so deluded, again, is the term I think most applicable here, that he would act like it makes any sense that in a fair election he would win California. I don't think that. Okay, I don't think we have seen the brain fails of Trump. I don't think that's what this represents, actually, interestingly enough. I think this is Trump's narcissism. I think he's able to convince himself that even a state, obviously he's not able to win because it's super blue. Not everyone likes you, Trump. He can actually convince himself that he could win that state. Think about what MAGA media would say if Biden, when he were the candidate, were in an interview and said, folks, if it were fair, I'd win Alabama, folks. They would say he's gone mad, he's off his rocker, and doesn't know what's going on. But here, Trump says that if Jesus were the election worker, then he would win California. That's pretty scary stuff that he could be that deluded. Then he, of course, is talking about wind again.
They have all sorts of nice contraptions, but they don't have wind is fine, but it kills the birds, it destroys the fields. Destroys the fields, what it does. You know how economists and various, they go over it. Wind is the most expensive energy in the world, and the environmentalists love it. Why do they love it? It kills all the birds. Walk to the bottom of a windmill and take a look. It looks like a bird cemetery.
I don't know if he's ever been to the bottom of a windmill, and he's not correct about it being the most expensive. And while windmills are not and can't be the end-all be-all, we have to be focusing on a lot of other options, nuclear, solar, etc. His obsession with opposing windmills, when in a state like Texas, it produces like 10% of the electricity, is very bizarre. This iconic moment is always brought to mind, obviously.
They say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay?
Right. The noise of windmills cause cancer. Then he is asked about the remark he made to a group of Christians saying, Christians, vote this time. It'll be so fixed after that you won't have to vote anymore. He's not good at cleaning that up, but he's also not there. It seems saying what some believe him to be saying, as bizarre of a statement as it was.
Say, vote this time. Get us in. Once we're going to fix the country, and it's not going to be important for you to come, and we're not going to need you voted, but we need the votes now.
Yeah, so even when he tries to explain it, oh no, they were being dishonest by cutting it the way that they did, and I wasn't saying the election's going to be fixed next time, that's why you won't have to vote. I'm saying the country's going to be so fixed that it won't really matter because it'll be so popular that Republicans will win no matter what. But still, when he tries to clean it up, it just doesn't come off correctly at all. This show's community is rapidly growing, and I'm so grateful for that every day. If you want to make sure that you're part of that, check to make sure you clicked the subscribe button. Easy, free, simple, but makes all the difference. I appreciate it. Back to the video. We've heard this a gazillion times.
If she wins, I don't believe our country has a chance.
He's been saying that the country will be finished, over, bye-bye, concluded, if he doesn't win. Remember that us pointing to what Trump did in trying to harm our democracy for his purposes, when we say that's a threat to democracy and a second term could pose that threat, they have blamed us for the assassination attempt because of that, saying that rhetoric's too provocative. And as bad, horrific, terrible as the assassination attempt was, it did happen to be someone who didn't seem to be motivated by left-wing ideology and instead a twisted ambition for attention and notoriety because he was looking up Democratic and Republican politicians. But yet they don't find it to be too provocative to say the country altogether will be finished. Then on that shooting, he did say this.
It has to be God. I mean, how can you say it's luck when it's, 20 million to 1? Okay, I mean, it's just not possible that I was in that position. It's the only position where that bullet could have missed.
And you believe in God?
I do.
You believe God's hand was in this that day?
I believe so, yeah, I do.
And you talk about the country, you believe you have more to do. You weren't done. You were spared for a reason.
Well, God believes that, I guess. We'll have to see.
Y'all have noticed, I feel weird with a lot of the debates that have gone on post that assassination. So normally, let's just leave it at that was absolutely horrific. Political violence is wrong. We can address, as I just did, contradictory sort of takeaways that we'll hear. But even the discussing of how when he says God saved him, then is he saying God purposefully let his supporter die who got shot behind him? It's all, I understand that point, and it's a total fair one for people to go, wait, if you're saying God purposely saved you, why didn't he save your supporter? He wanted him to die? But that whole, going down that road and having that conversation just makes me feel weird, so we won't have it. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. If you want to get extra content daily and support this show, you can do it by clicking the join button below.